All right, so welcome to At the Movies on October 16th, page 20. Please get in all of that information. So the first word is a sequel. What's a word? What's the word? Excellent, sequel. And that is a book or a movie that continues the story of an earlier work. It's sort of like a follow-up, a continuation, part two, part three, whatever it might be. An extension, an addition. Okay, so a sequel. Star Wars had many different sequels. Harry Potter, and so on and so on. There are many, many more. Even video games have that. But stories, part one, part two, part three, sequel. And it comes from the word sequence, which means to order things. Sequel. 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 Q and U, stick like glue. So let's go. Sequel. Sequel. All right. So we have two things to mark up. Let's go. Underline the E and the Q. The E can say E at the end of a syllable. That is rule 1. Rule 4. Pardon me. And Q and U stick like glue. I got ahead of myself. That is rule 1. Okay? The next word is a great word. And it's the word saga. What's the word? Excellent, saga. And it's a saga is a long story or a series of story that often follows the lives of a family or characters over many generations. And we just learned about the word generation. Okay, an age and a group, an age in which people live, a group of people in which they live, like the World War II generation. Okay, so a saga. Okay. So for many people, their favorite movie might be a saga like Star Wars. Okay, this long story told over time. Saga, so we got some great synonyms for it. Epic, meaning a long story. A chronicle, a legend, a narrative, a myth, a yarn, a soap opera, a novella. Right, many of your parents may watch a novella. Right, it's a long story. It's a saga. It's a long story or a series of stories over a long period of time. Saga. Let's go. Saga. Saga. We use a. Saga. Saga. Okay. Think about it. Third sound. Third sound. Excellent job. All right. So an antonym would be short story. Okay. The next word, skip down to number 4, is the word arouse. What's the word? Exactly, arouse, which is really, arouse is to get your attention, to get you excited, to have you feel something strong. All right, arouse, you'll see why. Arouse, arouse. We use ow, o, oo, that's number 4. Arouse, arouse. Okay, tasting something that's spicy will arouse your senses, right? And you might start to sweat. All right, listening to music will arouse your feelings and your thoughts inside. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 things to mark up. So let's go. Underline the A, the ow, second sound, and underline the silent E twice. Job number 5, the A can say A at the end of a syllable. That is rule 4. People acting in a certain way will arouse suspicion. You'll get that strong feeling inside. Okay, but the reason we're doing that is the word we're getting from the word arouse is the word rousing. What's the word? Fantastic. Rousing. It's very attention-getting or exciting. So if you watch the news or you read a newspaper, they'll have these big, bold letters, right, with these tantalizing titles or words to get your attention, so they can sell their newspapers, or people will tune in. All right. So, for example, that rousing rendition of the national anthem by Whitney Houston got people very, very excited and emotional. Rousing. Let's go. Rousing. Rousing. So let's go. Rousing. Rousing. 1, 2, 3 things to mark up. Let's go. Underline the ow, second sound. Underline the ng. Now, notice we dropped the silent E. That is rule 13. Drop the silent E when we add ing. What do we do with these two words? Bracket or brace. Okay, the next word is the word epic. What's the word? Excellent. Epic is very similar to a saga in that it's a long story, a poem, or a movie. But in this case, an epic often involves heroic adventures and great battles. Okay, it's usually a conflict between good and evil, but where heroes have to battle for what's right and what's good. And I'm using good for a specific reason, meaning moral. Okay? So, epic. Let's go. Ep-ic. Epic. First syllable, ep. Second syllable, ic. Okay, epic. And by the way, I believe that epic actually comes from the Greek prefix epi, which means above or beyond also. There's another way to use it, okay? All right, think about the word episode, right? Episode, right? This part of this particularly long story. An example of an epic is something like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, okay? Star Wars, other stories, myths are on an epic scale because they involve conflicts between good and evil. Beethoven's symphonies often involved battles between good and evil, or even emotions like fighting off death in the Fifth Symphony. Okay? All right, so some excellent synonyms are words like a chronicle, a saga, a legend, a folktale, a fable, for sure, is an epic. All right, the right and wrong, myth, even an epic can be like when we say on an epic scale, an extravaganza. All right, and an antonym would be short story, something that's puny or paltry, weak and insignificant, or something that's unimpressive. And an epic is supposed to be very impressive. All right. And the last word, you guys are very, very familiar with it. Actually, I'm mixing it up. I think epic has something to do with the word speech or speaking. So I'm thinking of the prefix. I ignore what I said. Epi, like the epicenter above the center. That's a completely different thing. My apologies. And the last one, how many of you have ever gone to a movie theater and you see the title of the movie on top? There's a special name for that. It's called a marquee. A marquee. And think about it. It does sound like the word mark, but it is not spelled like that because it is French in origin, and I'll explain in a minute. Okay, but marquee is like, this is the mark. This is where the title is. This is where we go to see it. A marquee. Okay? So outside the theater, right, they give the title of the movie. It's in different colors to attract people's attention, so people go to see it. And that's called a marquee. Some great synonyms are an awning, a pavilion, a signboard, a canopy, a billboard, somewhat similar in that respect. An antonym would be probably just word of mouth, like people just talking about the movie, or a flyer, okay, like they hand out the pieces of paper. But I don't know if there's technically any antonyms, so we can really leave that alone. Marquee, okay, so let's go. Mar, and here's where it gets a little weird. Qui. Yes, Q and U, double E. Okay, the reason we say it as a K is because it's French, but it's marquee. So let's go. Marquee. Marquee. But it's actually marquee. All right, so how do we mark this up? Underline the R, triple underline it since it doesn't exactly follow the rules, and underline the E. If it will help, you could put a little K over that. Marquee. That's a little sloppy there. Marquee. And the reason is because it's French. Okay, same thing with Spanish. The Q and the U has a K sound. Marquee. All right? So let's see what we have with the WOD. The WOD for the day is the word precise. What's the word? It's the word precise. Okay? Something that is precise is accurate. It's exact. That's the thing we have to understand. Something that's precise is correct, very specific or detailed. Let's see, it's meticulous, or punctilious, some paying attention to those details. Okay, and so again, you could think of it like this: at that precise moment, at that exact moment, the doorbell rang. Okay. Be sure to take precise measurements before you saw that piece of wood or before you make that, create that recipe. Be sure that you take accurate measurements Be sure that you take exact measurements. Okay? Precise. Let's go. Precise. Precise. We use k. All right, so let's go. Precise. Precise. We have 1, 2, 3 things to mark up. Let's go. Underline the E, the I, and the silent E. Whoops. And the silent E twice. Draw an arrow back. Why? Because in this case, the silent E makes the I say I. The E can say E at the end of a syllable. That is rule 4. And I see a rule here. You got it. Rule 2, soft C, when followed by Y, I, or E. And I was almost imprecise. I was not quite precise in that regard. Precise, precise. Marquee, marquee. Movie theater sign outside which advertises it. Epic, epic. Arouse, arouse. Rousing, rousing. Saga, saga. Sequel, sequel. Go to it.